What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. It's February 2nd, 2026. I am Sean Ross Sapp, back on a nighttime edition of the Post Raw podcast. I have only done one of these since Christmas. We had Alex and Kate fill in one week. I was snowed into New York last week. We had a couple weeks where it was afternoon shows. My gosh, the awards were one week. Just so much going on. And I'm glad to be back here talking wrestling with you guys. Of course, I had my Royal Rumble post show the other day. We had a Paul Heyman interview that dropped this past week. All kinds of great stuff over there. And lots more coming to Fightful.com and FightfulSelect.com. Lots of scoops. We had stuff on the Royal Rumble. We had stuff on Kit Wilson, just all over the place. But let's talk about WWE Monday Night Raw. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll tell you a nice way you can help us. Head over to Apple, iTunes, whatever audio platform you fancy. Even if you don't fancy one, leave us a nice review. Most of our views are on Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff and video platforms. So you all doing that for free would help us get a few more audio listens that way. And we would greatly appreciate that. But let's talk about something I appreciated. This promo that ended WWE Raw. My God, we are going to start going with, I think, the most exciting thing at the top of the show. The most topical thing at the top of my WWE post Raw shows. And it is undoubtedly the WrestleMania main event of night 2, I believe. It is Roman Reigns, it is CM Punk, a match that we saw a variation of last year, but Seth Rollins ended up winning it. So it's okay to run that one back. Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. Okay. Safe option. Don't know that I needed him in a world title match, but after this promo, pretty excited about it. Do I want to see Cody Rhodes and CM Punk next year at WrestleMania? Yeah, I really do. But this is a match that made an awful lot of sense. And after this promo, it made even more sense. Roman Reigns comes out after winning the Royal Rumble, and he discusses the possibility of who he's going to call out, Drew McIntyre or CM Punk. Crowd doesn't want Drew McIntyre. Why? We've seen it a million times. That's why. They want CM Punk. And I thought last year that's probably the direction they were going to head, but they didn't because they ended up doing the triple threat, right? Okay. So CM Punk comes out, and earlier in the night, of which we will discuss at some other point of this show, Finn Balor had called out CM Punk, and CM Punk ends up cutting a bit of a promo on Finn Balor, and Roman Reigns is in the background like, what? Why are you talking about Finn Balor? I'm sitting here talking to you, buddy. And CM Punk had some points and had some things to say. But I thought that Roman Reigns absolutely ate CM Punk up on the microphone. Everything that CM Punk had, Roman Reigns had something better. You had CM Punk, I think, doing the right thing, saying, you are a visitor on this show and pretty much a visitor on every show at this point. Said, you just come by when you want to come by and you make these quarterly visits. He's like, and I heard you on ESPN saying that you gave everybody a chance and cleared the way. He said, you actually held this place hostage. You gaslit everybody and your own family into thinking that they needed you. And I loved when they got into that about Drew McIntyre specifically. Now, you could argue, Noise says, how'd you like Drew being buried tonight? I don't think it's being buried. It's playing off of history. And if there's one thing that he's going to do, it's persevere. Drew McIntyre will find a way to make this something that makes him more over because that's just how he is. But CM Punk said, yeah, Drew McIntyre's the easy route. And Roman Reigns was like, I think Roman Reigns did a little bit to put over Drew McIntyre here. He's like, he's like 4 times your size, right? And the last time you all fought, he had you crying over a little plastic bracelet. Actually, it's that one right there. CM Punk fires back with, yeah, you and how many of your cousins? And I got a good reaction. It really did. But, oh boy. Roman just fired back. Also, Punk said that he beat Drew so bad they ran out of staples, putting his dumb ass back together. Roman Reigns had said, yeah, I beat him for 3 years. I loved how Roman Reigns answered CM Punk talking about his quarterly vacations. Because Roman takes his time off, and CM Punk says, well, I'm going to this town, this country, that country. That way I can say my little catchphrase. Doesn't it feel great to be alive on a Monday night in Philadelphia or what? Which is one of the most convoluted lines I've heard. I am so about that line. Don't need that line. But Roman's like, yeah, you're making up for lost time because you took 10 years off. And he's not wrong. This is why, like, when the Cody Rhodes feud eventually happens, I want Cody to say, while you were out bitching, I was out changing things for the entire industry. I'm the reason why people like Hobbs are getting offered 7 figures. That's what I want. Roman Reigns just kept firing at him. He's like, what do we say, Zebros or some stupid shit like that. Talked about how he's the reason that CM Punk got back in the company. He said, who do you think that they went to when nobody wanted to touch you like 2 years ago? Who do you think they said, is it okay? He says that he signed off on it. And I can tell you guys, Roman Reigns really did not like CM Punk. And I loved the line that he put. Now, guys, if you go to our YouTube and type in timeline in the search bar, you're going to see a fantastic hour-long video where I talk about how the Royal Rumble 2014 led up to the Royal Rumble 2024. I could do a part 2 and make it go 2 more years to 2026. Because that same Colt Cabana interview, quite frankly, I believe the 2 most important podcasts in pro wrestling history, The Art of Wrestling with Colt Cabana and CM Punk, helped really create the narrative around Roman Reigns. And I'll tell you why. Go back and look at the reaction to Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble 2014. Then watch the Royal Rumble 2015 and that reaction. And then tell me what happened 3 or 4 months before that. Now, obviously, Roman Reigns was already starting to get pushed like to a level where we're like, okay. Somebody says, what's the second? No, both. There's 2 Colt Cabana podcasts that Punk did. While they didn't say the line, and they also didn't mention that that Roman Reigns complained about creative. He just talked about like moving out of the way. The line was, you've got to make Roman look strong. And Roman Reigns says, I'll never forget 10 years ago when you went on your little best friend's podcast, running your mouth, and made my life harder than it ever should have been. Says, I'm not picking you because you're the biggest star or because you're on Raw and it's the best show or because it's the best match. I'm picking you because I hate you. Whew. What we saw tonight is an example of why 2014 to 2020 was so bad. Go back to the FCW promo where you see Roman Reigns healing it up. That was a good promo. where he showed up late for an interview, and the interviewer was like, "You're late for this," and he goes, "What? You didn't have time to run your errands at the dollar store?" Like, it was really great. And then when Roman Reigns started in 2020, he was good. We saw the attitude. We didn't have to be heel all the time, but the suffering succotash bullshit and the pushing people down, pushing him down your throat, and the keeping the Shield theme and the vest and all this stuff. This is the type of thing that we should have had for years. This is also why when I see absolute dumb fucks say, "We want Vince," I'm like, listen, bro, like they had to force Vince to do this. And then finally, he's like, God damn it, I guess it's pretty good, huh? Yeah, it's pretty good to have Roman Reigns as a heel. Pretty good to have Roman Reigns with some edge. Pretty good to let Roman Reigns go out there, communicate his feelings, and in my opinion, dominate one of the greatest promo guys in the history of wrestling, CM Punk. Now, at this stage of the game, even with promos, we're talking about like, I wouldn't say 1993 Nolan Ryan, right? Although 1993 Nolan Ryan still whipped Robin Ventura's ass, right? I'd say we're probably like 1989, 1990 Nolan Ryan. He's still got his fastball. He can still strike out 200 people. Like, he can still do that. He might give up 3 or 4 homers in a game with some performances, but he might strike out 10 to 12 as well. That's how CM Punk feels to me at this stage. And Roman Reigns went in there and cut one of his best promos ever. Ever. This sold me on the WrestleMania main event. This is probably going to be night 2 as well. Now we've got like, 2.5 months to go. So I guess we're going to see how that all unfolds, but Jesus Christ, man. Roman Reigns absolutely uncorked one tonight. I honestly, listen, you want to use that Nolan Ryan comparison? CM Punk lobbed up a meatball to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns blasted it 500 feet over the fence. Incredible. And we probably are headed towards Cody, Drew, Jacob Fatu, maybe Sami Zayn involved as well for another WrestleMania title match. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. I'm blown away with how good this promo was. Gave me that feeling, man. This is how a top of the card guy, top of the card program, WrestleMania main event angle gets started. And I believe that they hate each other. More than anything, I believe that Roman Reigns hates CM Punk. I don't actually believe that CM Punk hates Roman Reigns. I believe that as a product of CM Punk's malcontent, whether it be played up for cameras or whatever that may be, that Roman Reigns was caused to hate him. That's why Seth Rollins didn't like him. And while CM Punk is all sunshine and rainbows, and isn't it great to be here in Lexington, Kentucky on a Monday night doing a Raw post show in the Fightful Studios, brought to you by NordVPN.com/Fightful, or what? Roman Reigns brought it tonight. That was incredible. 2 days ago, I had about a 0% interest in seeing Roman Reigns in a main event of WrestleMania, in a world title match of WrestleMania. Roman Reigns went out there and did main event guy shit, top of the card guy shit. He talked all that shit on ESPN, on Pat McAfee, and then he came out here on the following Monday night, and he lived up to it. Incredible. Now the question is, how do they follow it up? Mr. Acosta says, this is why I love pro wrestling. What a segment. This was an incredible segment. Whew. Let's hear from our wonderful sponsors at MyBookie as I calm down after that. If you head over to MyBookie AG on any given day, here's what you're going to see. Up to $500 bet back bonus for new customers, a 150% casino bonus up to $750, the ability to bet with Bitcoin, table games, live casinos, slots games, and the ability to bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. And you can do that with a $50 bonus when you deposit $100 or a $100 bonus when you deposit $200 with the link in our description below. No matter what sports season it is, or if it's pro wrestling season, you can bet on pro wrestling at MyBookie AG. Maybe esports is your thing. Maybe you want to bet on some entertainment. Maybe horse racing is your bag. All of it at MyBookie AG. We only want you to bet what you can, and please bet responsibly. If you need it, they've got a great support system there as well. But check out MyBookie AG, where you can bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. So, MyBookie's odds were so accurate this week, which they had all kinds of incredible prop odds. But the odds were so good that our thumbnail guy, shout out Rob Wilkins, just put the favorites, Liv Morgan and Roman Reigns, on the thumbnail for our post show. And I had people in my mentions complaining to me, oh my God, you spoiled the Royal Rumble with your thumbnail. I am not privy to WWE's booking decisions. I'm just following MyBookie AG, getting that code Fightful. What about the big game this Sunday? You putting some action on it? You should. I'm going Seahawks. Anyway, not my fault that they're that good. MyBookie and the code Fightful. Also, check out Fightful Select. We had the WrestleVotes Q&A today. They had a bunch of scoops last week. Just tons of stuff. Josh D from CT says, this MF spitting. Just showing love. Thanks, Sean. Well, thank you. AEW King says, hey, Sean, thank you so much. Love my days. Thanks. Well, we just appreciate you swinging by. I will say one thing. This show did feel like it was missing a little bit. Like, no AJ Styles farewell or anything like that. There's no Becky Lynch. There's no AJ Lee. Obviously, no Seth Rollins, anything like that. KE775 says, since she didn't return at the Rumble, can we assume AJ Lee returns at Elimination Chamber to set up her and Becky at Mania? You would think, right? I am legitimately surprised that AJ Lee did not return at the Royal Rumble. No Rio either. Oh my gosh, you're right. That's why it felt a little empty. But you got to remember, a lot of these people were on the road for like 13 straight days. So I get it. But I thought for sure AJ Lee would come out at the Rumble, eliminate Becky Lynch. You set that up. They burned the Becky elimination on Natty, which if you're not going to have AJ Lee, listen, y'all know I'm a Natty guy. I love Hart family, love catch can wrestling, love people with that type of gimmick. So I'm very happy about that. But also Becky probably pushed for it, knowing her. But I'm surprised that didn't happen. I would say, how can she not be at Elimination Chamber, right? She lives in Chicago. Ashton Clay says, percentage of Finley going to AEW, WWE. I'm working on a story about that. So we did confirm Clark Connors is about to get signed by AEW. That does increase the possibility of David Finley heading to AEW. But I know there had been some conversations between David Finley and WWE. I just don't know exactly how far those got necessarily. But we're working on it. Will Roman be off TV until Raw at MSG in March? God, I hope not. You can get at least 1 week out of the I'm here, Roman Reigns isn't. But how many weeks we got till WrestleMania? We got quite a few. How many Raws? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 Raws. How are you going to fill 10 Raws? Says, I was okay with Punk versus Roman, but this one night or this one promo was sold night 2 and Roman winning for me. This is the perfect setup for heel Punk after the loss. I agree. I think the crowd is going to start going the Roman Reigns side of things. I really do. And I think that should get to Punk, assuming that is the direction that they're going to go. The crowd's going to go. Now, Finn Balor cuts a promo, a vignette, and he says that he's been disrespected for far too long and that CM Punk is going to pay. I like Finn Balor a lot. I think he's great. I think it's stupid to put him anywhere near the top of the card without giving him some wins. And that's about all I can say about that. I say it every single week. It makes no sense. He lost the title match and then ruined a title match. And then will what? Maybe he won't win the title. It's CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania. Not happening. Not happening. Do something creative, WWE. Braun Breaker crashes out. KE775 says, do you think it's Seth that attacked Braun, or will they go another route like Pierce hiring someone? I think it could be Seth that attacked Braun. I really do think that. I think that they could be leaning into that direction and just bridging the gap until he's healthy. Because Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, that's a hell of a WrestleMania match, in my opinion. So, Adam Pearce, after Braun Breaker has his hissy fit, says he didn't rig the Rumble and says that listen, Adam Pearce was on his bullshit tonight and I loved it. He was so good. He goes, but I'll do you a big favor and not fire you for that trash ass performance you had at the Royal Rumble. And yes, I agree. I was like, damn, at some point, Adam Pearce got to catch those hands, right? Like, we got to see this. And I've always said this. I hope that one of these guys brings it up. I would actually love for it to be Logan Paul. To be like, Braun Breaker does not respect you, but I do. I know that you're a former NWA champion. I know that you were an accomplished wrestler. Like, kind of play it up like Logan knows his shit, even though he probably doesn't know that. I wish they would do that. So Adam Pearce, like, sort of blamed Austin Theory a little bit about it. He sort of did. Not like he just implied. And Braun's like, you know what? Logan Paul doesn't know what NWA is. I know. Somebody would have to write that line for him, Demon Diva. Shout out to, I got a notification this week. Shout out to 2 years ago when Demon Diva and I were in Vegas at WrestleMania presser, and AJ Francis like made us go to a Super Bowl party. It was incredible. He was so good to us, but made us go to a Super Bowl party. I think we rode the roller coaster that week as well, and back to Vegas this April, by God. So LA Knight comes out and brawls. Pierce ejects LA Knight, and Heyman wants a match between Braun Breaker and LA, and Pierce is like, nah, bro. He gone. And I thought the Adam Pearce line was lame. He goes, F-A-F-O. And I'm like, all right. Yes, the roller coaster was his idea. Or the roller coaster was Demon Diva's idea. Super Bowl party was his idea. I was on, I think, 2 hours of sleep So none of it was my idea. I was there in body, not in spirit, so to speak. I was barely functioning that day. I had the worst headache of my life, but a good time. So Bronson Reed takes on Penta, and Penta wins by countout. This crowd sucked, by the way. Sucked. And I actually dug how this all played out. So Braun Breaker's gone. Penta takes out the Vision. There's a ref bump. Usually that's costing the babyface, right? But there's a ref bump, and then LA Knight comes out, hits his gimmick. What's it called? The BFT. And then Penta wins via countout. I think that's a good way to get Penta a win there. Set up something between Bronson Reed and LA Knight. I really dug that. Like that a lot. Crowd was horrible. Also, Bronson Reed doing the Shane Mercer. It's the power bomb into the power slam that Swerve does a lot. Love that move. Should set up the tsunami, honestly. I miss a good setup move, right? Razor Ramon would do the fall away slam, and then he'd be like, all right, here we go. Missed one of those. Really dug the LA Knight integration here. You're setting up, as I got the hiccups. Damn it. Love them setting that up there. I think you're going a lot of different directions here. You're going Braun Breaker. Obviously, he's going to face LA Knight at some time because LA Knight beats Braun Breaker. Or sorry, he beats Bronson Reed. Digging that. Lord Zypher says, what's the end game with all this Balor stuff? Demon versus Dom for the IC title at Mania? My dude needs a big win bad. Thanks for all you do, Sean. Dom was so over like a year ago that I thought that he was going to turn babyface. And I think they kind of missed the boat on Dom as a babyface for a while. So I think it's got to be Balor as a heel. Or sorry, Balor as a babyface. Bring the Demon in. Because I think that Dom needs to be like, bro, you're a loser now. Like, you just keep losing. I'm the leader of the Judgment Day. And then that's when we get it. And maybe do Demon, Balor, and Dom at WrestleMania. Ashton Clay says, do you know if Evil is signed to WWE? We did have a report on FightfulSelect.com this past week about Evil. He ain't going to AEW. Tony Khan's not a big fan of his work. He has been behind the scenes at WWE an awful lot. He has a significant other in the company, so he's around a lot. They've talked to him. They know him. Probably an okay fit there. I think he's going to WWE. I just know that he was looking at his options outside of New Japan. Hiromu Takahashi's leaving too. At some point, some point? Oh, for quite a while, you've had to go, what's going on with New Japan? Why aren't they there? A lot of people leaving that company. Clark Connors is leaving the company. Maybe there'll be a dual contract situation there, but a whole lot of people. What brand do you think Royce Keys will end up on? Well, since he wasn't on Raw tonight, I'm going to say SmackDown because it was my understanding that he would not have went to WWE if he had to go to NXT. From what I understand. Let me tell you guys, I did the Raw review. How happy I am for this man. This is one of the great dudes in pro wrestling. And I told this story the other night, but in wrestling, obviously I've got a line to almost every wrestler if I need to. When I lost my grandmother, this gentleman reached out and he said, you know what? I lost my mom a couple of years ago. I know how you feel. If you need anybody, got your back. That was very nice. And I mean, I got a lot of people, a lot of you said wonderful things like that as well, but it specifically stuck out because, he's taken on the name of his late mother. Very happy for him. A couple things. People keep asking me about Danhausen's contract. I asked. I don't have an update. The date was February. Doesn't mean February 1. By the way, I got AJ Styles' retirement tracker out here tweeting, AJ Styles' contract is up. And I'm like, bro, you do not have that information. And they said, it was reported February. By me. By me. And I said a lot of things could have happened since then. Come on now. And I got people saying, Heyman said the same line to Pierce on the Rumble pre-show. I didn't like it then either. I know it's a callback. I think it's a lame line. F-A. F-O. Adam Pierce is better than that. Way better than that. Javon Evans defeated El Grande Americano thanks to original El Grande Americano. Was it just me, or was there like a weird dead air before the commercial break? Did it seem like they were in a commercial break before they were in a commercial break to anybody else? It just got really quiet. They stopped calling the action. They stopped doing all that. It was very unusual. I was sitting there like, I was looking, because, I'm doing a little typing while the show is going on. I'm like, hope everything's okay. And yeah, it felt like maybe somebody was in their ear, or maybe they miscued the commercial. I was looking over because like I'm on the Netflix feed, but I wasn't on international tonight. And I was like, did I miss something? Loved the coast to coast swanton. I did that on a trampoline back in the day. I loved that. Out of a treehouse. Javon Evans doing it across a 20-foot ring. So they had to shoot it that way. That way, in case he misses it, you can't tell. So that's why they did it hard camera side. But El Grande stops El Grande from cheating, and the ref catches him. Javon Evans wins, as he should. So I like this as well. Javon Evans gets a win. Loved seeing Becky Lynch backstage saying, he's the son I never had. What a sweet woman. A legitimately sweet woman outside of the gimmick. But Grande and Grande. We got to go mask versus mask here, right? But do they eventually join forces? Do they create a super Grande? Do we get the Grande Creeds as well? Perhaps we get a Grande Ivy? And here's the thing. I would like Jessica Carr to play a female Grande as well. Get her some reps in the ring. That'd be cool, right? But if they do a mask versus mask match, I want it to end in a double pin. And they both got to unmask. That's what I want. Luis is saying, Sean, stop it. Oh, man. I think the character is too successful for them to get rid of at this point. Oh, man. AJ Styles music hits. I'm working on some stuff about AJ Styles, guys. Don't worry. I'm what I can get. Nobody seems to know. I did talk to Carl Anderson. He's like, well, I knew he was going to lose. I just don't know what's going to happen next. And I said, brother, bring him to the Lexington Ice Center next month. You got a booking here. But Gunther comes out to AJ Styles music and does the pose and all that. Gunther calls himself a career killer. Great trademark. Great trademark. Just ripe for a program with Randy Orton. What I love is that Gunther has had multiple world title runs. He has had an iconic NXT UK run. He has had the best Intercontinental title run of all time. What more can you do in a singles perspective, right? What hasn't he done? He hasn't main evented WrestleMania yet. That'll probably come at some point. But he can end careers. And that's what I like. I think it's a good thing to keep him busy. And he's saying, like, I've been champion. I know how important it is, but like taking people's souls, taking their careers, oh, that's something else for me. And we're talking about Goldberg, one of the biggest box office phenomenons. John Cena, one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. And AJ Styles, who, if you told me, was the best wrestler of all time in the ring, I'd be like, sure. And there's a lot of other people he can retire for a while. I know a lot of people say, oh my God, but he's already 38 years old. I know he's already 38 years old. And I know that when Brock Lesnar ended the streak in 2014, I was like, damn, man, really him? He's already made. Gunther is already made. Brock was already made, but here's the difference. Gunther is a full-time wrestler of which can benefit off of this for a long time. Brock was always going to be part-time after that. He was never coming back full-time. That's why I like it a lot more. Dragon Lee comes out, gets hung. Hung, bro. It was a great visual. Shadow says, any news on AJ Styles' contract? Hope he goes to AEW. My thought is, why would you put back on the gloves if you did not plan to wrestle again? Or were at least leaving it open, right? That's how I feel. Now, I thought Jericho would be in WWE and the Rumble and all that stuff, but he's not. He's still under AEW contract. With AJ, I don't know when his contract's up. Don't know if he's re-signed something. Don't know his status. I would love to see him do an AEW run. I would love to see what one of our readers pitched the other day. I would love to see AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay as the conduit for Christopher Daniels from that TNA Unbreakable match. Then he can go to TNA and he can do a run there to Bound for Glory, say goodbye. Then I honestly, I would love to see him wrap up at Wrestle Kingdom. And people will go, well, that's actually 2027. So Noy says, somebody got to take that horrible man down. Gunther. Jimmy Uso is with Jay during a commercial. They weren't on the show, the actual show either. So the tag team champions, Jay Uso, who is a big star, also not really on the show. In addition to Rhea Ripley, in addition to Io Sky, in addition to AJ Lee, in addition to Becky Lynch, and of course Seth Rollins is hurt. Damn, man. Bella Twins show up. They want to be champion. There's people crying in the crowd. I think that, listen, I know that there's a lot of people the Bella Twins are not their cup of tea, right? I do think it is understated how important they were for a female demographic to be familiarized with WWE. I would teach kickboxing classes, and the women that were in those kickboxing classes like 12 years ago, they knew who Nikki Bella and Brie Bella were. They did not know who The Undertaker was. They did not know who Brock Lesnar was. They loved Total Divas. That did usher in an era of fans. And I think that it makes an awful lot of sense to bring in, as they said, the original tag team, although you could say the Divas of Doom were actually the original tag team. I believe they teamed together first. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably wrong there. I'm going to look it up. But they were among them. So completely fine with that. Yeah, they started around the same time. 2008. I thought this was a harmless promo. You get Brie Bella on TV. You allow mothers to serve, slay, eat, leave no crumbs. Got no problem with this. Brie made light of Nikki getting her ass kicked all the time. They made some Philadelphia Eagles and Cooper DeJean references. Thought it was harmless. Good. Put them in the tag team division. Have them do what they do. War Raiders are out in the ring. This is a very polarizing segment right here. Very polarizing segment. So Obafemi comes out and beats both of their asses. Not a lot more to say there. Beats both of their asses, but I saw a lot of people say they're buried, they're done, cooked. Oba said, "You're both going to die." So here's how I feel about this. I don't have a problem with it. I did have a problem 21, 22 years ago when Batista was winning a 2-on-1 match against the active tag team champions. I think it was La Resistance. And that's because the tag team division as a whole was just treated horribly. It's not treated that much better now. But I don't know that you could be more buried than a team that has not been on TV in almost 2 months anyway. And before that, hadn't been on TV for 3 months. You're not doing anything with them. They're really big guys, so I don't have as much of a problem with this. And you want Obafemi to be a monster. Batista was already established as a monster when he beat La Resistance. I look at this as Brock Lesnar showing up and beating up Maven and Spike Dudley. It's just they're way bigger and more physically imposing. Now, where I do run into the problem was I'd probably just had Obafemi go all the way to the end of the Rumble or maybe even win it at that point. I want Obafemi to immediately be a guy that people look at and go, how in the hell are we going to beat him? How in the hell is anybody? Oh, my God. I think they did a good job tonight. I thought they did a really, really good job. I dig this as of right now. Ryan says, for like a year, I've been saying Oba should beat the Raiders and Omos rule over monsters in a faction. Felt more like the Raiders are leaving. And I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, I'll ask, obviously. But even if they're not, I don't have a problem with this. Then you can set up a match and actually do it. And Obafemi, in a singles perspective, has an infinitely higher upside than Eric and Ivar. And I don't think any of those wonderful gentlemen will be upset of me claiming that and saying that. Love both of those guys. They're great. Fantastic performers, fantastic wrestlers. Obafemi is a guy that's going to be a guy for the next 15 years for them. Matt Raquel, thanks for becoming a Fightful YouTube member. I hope you'll become a Fightful Select member as well. Exclusive daily news every day, Q&A articles every day. Had the Q&A podcast for Wrestle Votes today. It's a live one. Wrestle Votes Radio every week. My Q&A every week. Sour Graps multiple times a week. Exclusive Discord access. Hot damn, it's a good time. You might say, why pay for wrestling news? I say, why not? Let's hear from our wonderful partners at Nord. If you aren't watching wrestling with NordVPN.com/Fightful, you are not watching wrestling in the best way. I know times are tough. Money is tight. NordVPN.com/Fightful can eliminate your cable bill if you just watch wrestling. You can watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and PLEs on Netflix by changing your virtual location with just one click. You can watch pay-per-views at a much more affordable price when you change that virtual location and get the prices they're getting overseas. In addition, all the wonderful features that we haven't even mentioned. But right now, you save big. 4 extra months free and a 30-day money-back guarantee when you use NordVPN.com/Fightful. By the end of this subscription, you're going to be saving money. NordVPN.com/Fightful. NordVPN.com/Fightful. How many people you see? How do I watch ESPN Unlimited? Just use NordVPN.com/Fightful. Just do that. Backstage, you've got Otis and Tozawa with Bert Kreischer. All right. You have Maxine show up. She looks like $1,000,000. She is jacked, bro. She is putting the work in to look like a convincing pro wrestler. Now, that being said, I will say the same thing. It is the complaint I have about the Maxine character. I can't go from stumbling rookie to I'm going to break her ankles. I don't like that. She can be confident in herself, sure. I can't go. That one takes me out of it. And for a woman like Maxine that she cuts great promos. She's really convincing. She is really, like, her delivery is great. I don't think we need that. Terry Allen Jr. says Natty needed a match before Maxine. Terry Allen Jr., I couldn't agree with you more. Natty should have come out tonight and absolutely mauled somebody for like 2 minutes straight. Like, give her a good squash match. Bring in a name from the past or something like that. And Natty just dominates them. That's what I wanted to see. Will Chisholm says, has Roman the Man ever got over the Punk podcast? Well, Roman the Man is a very private man, so I can't pretend I've ever had those conversations with him. But I mean, I know that people around Roman were bothered for him. It is very easy to blame CM Punk, and believe me, WWE did for a long time, for Roman Reigns not being cool. And the make Roman look strong thing. It's very easy to blame him for that, right? But a lot of it was the terrible booking of WWE. You look at Roman Reigns then, and you do not recognize him. The contacts, even the facial hair was different. The gear was different. The music was the same as the Shields. The promos weren't good. They would have him come out and drone on and on and on. He doesn't do that anymore. I don't know that he's had a promo even since the Bloodline era that was as long as any number of them then. Maybe I'm just revisionist history, but infinitely better. Dave Koss, I believe it is, says, as your Raw and Philly live correspondent, the show was uneven, but man, that finish rot. Can't believe how many promo bullets they unloaded from the chamber. 2.5 months from the match. Fun night. It was really good, man. Like, it was, gave you that feeling, right? Gave you that feeling. Made you want to watch them fight each other. You know, Punk's going through a barricade at Mania Night 2. I'm pretty sure this is going to main event Night 2 at this stage. That's how I'm feeling. Dave, what an incredible promo to see live. And outside of that, yeah, not the strongest episode, but get your super chats, get your humper chats in. We are headed down the home stretch, my friends. Dominic comes out. Hope he's healthy soon. Ready to see him back. Still healing up that shoulder. But good to get him on the show when you miss so many other people because he is a big star. Brings out Liv Morgan, who won the Royal Rumble. Yeah, boy has been calling for this since like August, September, October. I was saying it should be Liv Morgan. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. She's ready to be the bride. Ready for that. She says she's going to decide who she's going to face, but she's going to SmackDown first, and she introduces Raquel, who's going to win the world title tonight. And Raquel is mad. You can tell she's like really passive aggressive. She's being pissy about it. And wants Liv to stay in the back tonight. Doesn't want Liv to help. I mean, it's a street fight. So little of what I'm about to talk about makes sense. Why would Raquel not just want Roxanne and Liv out there whipping her ass, whipping Stephanie's ass up and down the place? Bam, pin, there you go. Okay, Liv, you go win that other title. I'll make sure you're set. If you are Raquel, and if WWE's trying to portray Liv as a heel and Raquel as more babyface-ish, it doesn't come across that way because it really makes Raquel seem like way more greedy. Raquel already had a title shot, and Liv and Roxanne would have been happy to help her because we saw them try to help her, despite Raquel asking Liv not to. But from a heel mentality logic standpoint, asking them to stay back didn't mean anything. Raquel doesn't care about cheating. We know that. And if she won the world title, she either gets to face her best friend at WrestleMania for the title, or 2, Liv goes and competes for the other title. Well, this match finally woke up the crowd. That was good. They needed this and that show ender, I felt like. Raquel caught a power bomb, went through the table. But the thing about Liv interfering, she's like, "Here, Raquel, use the belt. Use the belt." And I'm standing around and I go, "Am I crazy here? There's weapons all over the place. Slide it into her." But she can pick up any weapon. She don't need your help picking up a weapon. She doesn't need a Jason Kidd right now. She doesn't need an assist. She'd rather you come in and hit the slam dunk. That way she can just pin her if you're going to do all that. Roxanne gets headbutted through a table outside. Man, she's so good. Then you get the Rana-ish, or the Rana through the table-ish. Table didn't really break that much. Corkscrew splash. Stephanie wins. Mega says the chairs and table didn't sell for Raquel. Yeah, they didn't. KE775 says, when does Raquel turn on Liv, before or after Mania? And where does Roxanne factor in? So, I mean, there was a possibility that Raquel could have won, and you do the title match at Mania, Raquel and Liv. Maybe you find a way to make it a triple threat between the Judgment Day girls. But as of now, it looks like they're keen on Stephanie. It's just they booked her bad during the run. I think it's got to be Liv and Stephanie straight up. I think that's the match. But this is honestly a fairly unpredictable one. But I could see Raquel and Roxanne turning on Liv eventually. But I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me how the heel face dynamic will work here. You know what I mean? So this one's easier said than done. Sorry, I don't have an actual answer for you. Mr. Rai, any truth to the rumors about friction between Triple H and Roman? I'm trying to think if I've ever heard that. I mean, Triple H has had friction with people, for sure. I mean, it's happened. I just don't know about Roman. And if so, kind of weird to book the guy to win the Royal Rumble and compete in probably the night 2 main event of WrestleMania. So I'm going to say, like, right now, probably not any friction between Roman and Triple H, but I will dig into this. But where are the rumors? When you all say rumors, I want to know where the rumors are from. If it's fucking Air Gold tweeting rumors suggest, no, they don't. No, they don't. Just hit me with where they're from. We need a tip line or something. Guys, I appreciate you all so much. I love the Royal Rumble. You guys, if you've followed Fightful for a long time, you know how much I love the Royal Rumble, covering the Royal Rumble, finding out about it. I just love learning about wrestling and then sharing what I learn with you guys. And I'm very fortunate to have the two gentlemen, Wrestle Votes, Joey Votes, and TC, helping me out doing the Q&A show, doing Wrestle Votes Radio, all that stuff. We got a great social team. Luis, Rob Wilkins, Kyler, Kate has done so well as well. I was able to have a little bit of time off over the last month-ish or so. And just want to thank my team so much for that because, man, I love getting to talk wrestling with you guys. I will never take that for granted, and kind of missed being here on Monday nights. You know what I mean? I am back here Wednesday afternoon. I'm with Gabby of Gabby AF Pod on The Hump. If you missed my show with Chris Van Vliet last week, It was a great one. I love doing shows with Chris Van Vliet. And guess what? If you love Chris Van Vliet, you're going to want to be at Circus Sports on Fremont Street in Las Vegas, WrestleMania week. Let me tell you about what they're doing at the official hotel of Fightful WrestleMania week. Now, don't know how much I'm allowed to reveal about Wednesday night, but there's going to be an art show there with friend of Fightful, Naomi. You've seen her work. The Rock has bought her work. All kinds of huge stars have. Thursday, Chris Van Vliet doing his live show. Friday, Denise Salcedo, our great friend Denise, who will be on an upcoming episode of The Hump, will be doing her show at Circus Sports. Shotzi will be there as well. I'm going to be doing a lot of man on the scene stuff. So all the stuff you're hearing me talk about right now, I'm going to be running around getting videos, pictures of it, maybe doing some interviews with a few of the people, a lot of stuff like that. Very, very excited. Also, while I'm here, they didn't ask me to plug this, but by God, I am, because I love what Billy Starks is doing for our Kentucky-ish area. She's running the show on the Indiana side of the river because of commissions and all that stuff. But I'll be at Girl Fight Wrestling on February 15th. I am going to take in the show. It is, dude, it's a loaded card, but it's the afternoon. It's in New Albany. And I want to shout out what they're doing, because if you're bringing wrestling to the Kentucky area and you're putting in the type of work that Billy Starks is, it's going to be good. My good friend Allie Albright is on the show. My good friend Emily J is on the show. But not just that, you got Kenzie Page and Kylie Page. You got Shaza McKenzie. You got Lainey Luck, the ID champion. You got Jamie Hayter and Vert Vixen on this show. That is an insane match to just have on here. Just like tons of stars on that show. Killer Kelly, of course, who I presided over her wedding. Rachel Ellering, Rachel Armstrong, Maya World. Just so many stars are going to be there. I'm very, very happy to have that in our local area. Check it out. February 15th, little free ad for my friends at Girl Fight Wrestling there. But I appreciate you guys. Till next time, we're out.